Hey everyone, it's Jules here from the Board Game Barbecue. I'm here in Noosa National Park in Queensland, Australia, just enjoying a beautiful walk, and I'm also here to talk about a new game coming soon to Kickstarter, designed by Ryan Courtney and published by Bitewing Games, and that is Trailblazers. So let's go for a walk in this beautiful place, and I'll share a few of my thoughts about the game and how it plays. So Trailblazers is a 1 to 8 player game, and it takes around 30 minutes to play. And it plays over 4 rounds, which really don't have a lot of actions. On your turn, at the start of a round, you're given 8 cards. You have to place 2 of those in your play area, connecting to either another pathway, or at the very beginning of the game, it needs to connect to a base camp. The routes don't have to connect in any particular way, but they need to touch each other in some way. Once you've played 2 cards, you then pass your hand around, doing a draft with other players. Once you've then played another 2 cards, you pass those hands around again. The end of the round will happen when you've played 6 cards, with the last 2 being discarded. And then you'll start again. You'll go another round and place down more of these path tiles again and again until the game is over. Now there's a few little wrinkles in the game which make it really interesting. You can overlay the card tiles, which creates this openness in the game and this puzzle factor that's really, really challenging. On top of that, you have objectives in the game that you're trying to complete, as well as making sure that you complete actual loops of these different trail types connecting back to their base camps. There's also end game objectives, and all of these things combined create a really tense and puzzly game that is absolutely enjoyable every single time to play. There's just so much opportunity, you can't do it all in the game, and it feels different and challenging every single time. There's also a few expansions that I'll cover in a sec that mix things up a little bit and up the difficulty as well. Before I talk more about the gameplay, I do want to mention that the copy I have here is a prototype, so all the artwork and rules are not final at this stage, but I have to say, I am pretty impressed with what I've received. This is the base game. As you can see, it fits in the palm of my hand in this beautiful clamshell case. All of the cards are PVC, so they won't get bent or torn, which means you can play in any place. It doesn't matter what environment you're in, whether in a national park like myself or at the beach even. I will say I've played this at multiple different player counts, including solo, and it does have a beautiful table presence. The artwork is gorgeous, but yet simple and easy to read on the table. But it also is quite a table hog, I will mention, especially as you get up higher in the player count. Nonetheless, it is a beautiful game, and I really am excited to see how the game further develops throughout the campaign. Now, if you go for the deluxe version of the game, you'll get a couple of small expansions which really change up the gameplay. The first of which is the animal expansion. On the cards themselves, there's artwork of animals, and with that corresponding screen printed meeples that really add a nice visual presence to the game already that is stunning and beautiful. The trick there is you're trying to get unique animals on the loops that you create for the different base camps, and you'll score a bonus 2 points for each unique animal along the loops that you do complete. Now, the tricky thing is, as I mentioned, you can overlay these cards throughout the game. So if you change your mind and want to divert the path somewhere else, you can do that, except with the animals expansion, if you commit at the time of placing that card down and put an animal on it, you can no longer overlay that card, locking it in for the rest of the game. I personally love playing with the animal expansion. It just adds a little twist and another little decision that makes it really tricky. You've got to decide at that moment whether you're committing to it fully, going for an objective or trying to close a pathway, and it just makes it more interesting. I really enjoy it that way. The disadvantage, however, is that you need those meeples, and that makes you then lose the beautiful form factor that fits in the size of your hand. If that's not a problem to you and you don't really see yourself traveling with this game, then I'd absolutely recommend looking at that expansion that's added to the deluxe version. Another note on the beautiful artwork of the game is it's set in North America, so the expansion with animals has bears, bison, moose, eagles, and bobcats. Now, here in Australia, we don't have a lot of those animals. We have things like kangaroos, koalas, wombats, but we do actually have a bobcat. Sorry, that was an extremely Australian reference there. Anyway, back to the game. Now, the other expansion that comes with the game feels like a very different mode of play. It's almost a very different game in a sense. You actually get Meeples that have people canoeing and hiking and riding bikes, and you're trying to move them along these pathways and setting up base camps in order to score points, but trying to progress the paths far enough that they don't reach the end of it. You also score bonus points based on the animals that they see along the way. And it's quite a different way of thinking and approaching the game, very different to the base game, even the base game with the animals expansion. So again, this is included in the deluxe version and adds a lot more variability and interesting ways that you can play the game. It really makes you think quite differently about it. So if you're familiar with Ryan Courtney's other games of Pipeline and Curious Cargo, and you enjoy the puzzly aspect of connecting those pipes together, you're absolutely going to love this game. If you're someone that struggles with openness and lots of options and decision making and a little bit of analysis paralysis, this might not be the game for you, but it's as hard as you want to make it, really. You can think a long time and try and find the optimum move, or just put a card down and see what happens, because ultimately you don't know what cards you're going to get from the next person's hand. I thoroughly enjoy this game and highly recommend it to everyone to take a look at it. I think you'll be happy no matter whether you get the basic version of the game or even the deluxe version of the game. It's going to be a smash hit with lots and lots of people. Well, that's it from me. If you can probably hear and see, I've reached the beach now. So before I leave you and go for a swim, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe and check out the Kickstarter link below. I highly recommend supporting this game and backing it. It's going to be a massive success and something that will come to the table again and again. I can never see this leaving my collection. It's just simple, puzzly and fun, and has lots of components and mini expansions to provide all the variability that we board gamers love. Until next time, play some more games and go for a swim!